I should have texted you right before it started.
For folks online, we're doing some technical difficulty things here. We'll wait just a moment.
I'm sitting at the house tonight watching them smoking. I went, got a meeting.
You had to press it again.
So we'll call the meeting to order. Hopefully that we got a screen up here that's working. It's may be affecting light too, but we'll press on. So we'll call this meeting to order. If you would, please rise for invocation. Reverend Oak.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's bow our heads in prayer. We turn to you this night, O Lord, and ask that you would give us guidance and wisdom and discernment as decisions are made that truly affect our community. And to this end, we ask your blessings, that you would season our speech, as it were, with salt. Help us to hear one another, to serve you, and to serve those whom we serve. Hear our prayers, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. So did we do it? We did our roll call electronically, or are we still waiting? Okay. So we have 6 in attendance this evening. Alderman Tullahoma was unable to attend this evening. That brings us to honorary aldermen. Last 2 weeks ago, we had the same two gentlemen. They decided to come back, and so we're pleased to see them, Mr. Abdi Rega and Mr. Jean Kai. And I hope I got anywhere close with both of those names, but I think I get close. So welcome back. Anything you wanted to report? Thank you for being here. Proclamations, award, and special presentations. We do not have any this evening. And so that brings us to, comments from citizens. So we have 3 people signed up. Is it Joel Tuck? Is that correct? Yes, sir. The floor is yours.
How much time I get?
3 minutes,
Okay.
give or take.
Just want to make sure.
Try not to do 10.
Oh, no. Thank you for having me. I'm Joel Tuck. My wife Rebecca and I reside at 431 Old Shelbyville Highway in Tullahoma. We own 3 additional residential properties on the west side of town. We built our home 13 years ago along with our other 3 properties. We have paid the city and county tax over $100,000 since that 13 years. I grew up here, graduated here, played a little baseball here, and moved back believing this would be a great small town to retire in. If the current zoning ordinances are not revised, then the town is going to suffer with the way they're letting things continue to develop around the city so far. I believe the government has sold the people out in Tullahoma just for more tax revenue. Meeting with the different disciplines, it seems like that's what the deal is all about. Let's get rooftops. P&Z is a rubber stamp being controlled by a director who's not qualified. Homeowners, along with 431, are sick to their stomach about the hodgepodge going on up and down that highway. The existing Stillwater development that's proposed has a lot of issues. No traffic study, no soils testing, incorrect hydro reports, violate state code 401, federal code 404. I could go on and on. Typical cities and counties I've been involved in, Williamson, Rutherford, Wilson, Sumner, et cetera, require approvals first. The water runoff's a big issue for us, and it should have to be a situation where they're not allowed to run any water off. So I would rather we not just go in and allow people to take a piece of dirt and split it all up and start throwing things up and not take in consideration the harmonious neighborhood that's around them. The builder should consider the existing neighborhoods aesthetic, maintain open communication with nearby residents, respect property boundaries, and approach fosters community harmony and enhance the overall appeal of the area. Aesthetic capability, new homes should reflect the architectural style of existing homes. All these homes up and down that highway are brick and different designs and on acreage, whereas now we're going to have 21 third-acre lots built behind us. So the society orientation, communication, and collaboration, there has been none as far as if we hadn't stepped in and tried to get involved and figure out what was going on, we wouldn't know. So we asked you to please take in consideration how do we get together and make changes to the planning and zoning so that we are protecting the neighborhoods that are existing here and the investment these people have made.
Thank you,
I
sir.
think I heard the bell ding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Craig.
Good evening. My name is Russell Cradle. Thank you for letting me take just a minute or two to speak. Ms. Rose and I own property at 725 Old Cheverville Highway. Like Mr. Tuck, Ms. Rose and I grew up here. We're educated here. Most of our working career has been here. Built our respective businesses here and retired here. It's pretty much a lifelong commitment to this community. We concur wholeheartedly with what Joel just read, and I would like to add a few points and keep this short. Had it not been for all the neighbors collectively challenging the test results of the hydrology report and bringing it to the attention of city officials, the construction permit would already be issued. The mayor has seen very revealing video evidence of the flooding that cannot be ignored. As a result, TDEC has been back on the property to do its own testing and concurred that wetlands do exist on this property. They are returning again to determine the extent of the wetlands. Our zoning laws allow this to happen, and as the governing body and elected officials of our city, we are asking that the necessary steps be taken to prevent this from happening in the future. If an advisory committee is formed to fix our zoning laws and wants active involvement from citizens, Mr. Tuck and myself will make ourselves available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dean.
Good evening. Chuck Dean, 419 Albemarle Drive. Just to preface this, I spoke to JP a little bit about this. This is regarding the agenda item for the Parks and Rec Maintenance Facility that you have this evening. I have no issue if this is needed. Money's been designated for it under the Parks Capital Project budget. My main concern is that the proposal being submitted is a lump sum of $632,000. I think there should be an itemized breakdown of the items. Without it, you have no way of knowing your true costs in order to make a knowledgeable decision. Additionally, if the contractor submits a bill for a cost overrun on an item, you'll have no reference as to what the contractor was charging to begin with. In the agenda, under the recommendation caption, it states staff will negotiate acceptable contract conditions with the contractor and bring the contract to the board for final approval. I would suggest that if BOMA approves the proposal tonight, that it be with the requirement that an itemized breakdown of costs is included in the actual contract to be voted on in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments? If not, we'll move on to, let's see, am I forgetting anything? Yes. No, I'm good. That's the next items. Move on to approval of the agenda. I would like to entertain a motion to make a couple changes to the agenda. I would like to move to remove item number 8, item number 25-118, on account of some possible legal issues that have come up with that. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second that.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that one?
We need to have a motion and second on the item first before we can.
No, we're changing the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, we need a motion to approve the agenda first. My fault, my apologies. Motion approval on the agenda. Thank you. And now a motion and a second to remove item number 25-118.
I do have a comment on that.
Okay.
Would it be worth just letting it go through and going ahead and talking about it tonight since it's already on the agenda?
That's up to the board.
Yeah, that's what I was just proposing that to the board.
I have some comments about that as well, so.
Any other discussion? Let's vote on that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
One
Sorry.
question about that, though, if we let it go through, would we be able to bring it back again if it's voted down?
If it's voted down, you would not. I don't, unless one of the people that voted it down
Yeah,
brought it back
brings it up.
again.
Right.
Mr. Worsham, can you comment on that? I think
I'll tell you what, I've got a problem. I can't hear what you're saying.
the question is, can we vote on it again if it gets voted down
Ms.
tonight?
Hopkins answered that.
Okay, sorry. Ms. Hopkins.
Yeah, I
We couldn't get to the ear doctor till next week.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So what is the question? Is it?
If it's voted down tonight, can we
Yeah.
bring it up again?
Yeah, the answer was correct. So one of the people that voted it down would have to bring it back up. Our advice to you all would be to remove it right now because we've received potential litigation indication regarding this item, and so we think there needs to be more discussion about it before this item is brought up. And there are other avenues for us to discuss that than right now, so.
All right.
Do we
Sorry,
need,
Ms.
oh,
Wilson.
sorry,
Ms.
Bobby.
Wilson. You go ahead.
were-
You had-
I was just going to ask, do we need to schedule an executive session?
Yeah, I'm going to come to that next.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
And
Ms.
I was
Wilson.
just going to pretty much ask the same thing, because if not, then I do have some things to say about that item.
Okay.
Who was the second on the,
Was Ms.
It was
Wilson, I
me.
believe? Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? So we're voting to remove item number 8, number 25-118, from the agenda for tonight.
And then do you want to make an amendment to that
I was just
we're
gonna
going to
make
have
the
an
same.
executive session over the subject, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have the authority to call executive session, which I'm going to do, but we need to have a discussion about it, so. It's not giving us a vote right now.
did we vote to approve
Yeah, did we vote to approve the agenda?
the agenda?
Now we'll have to vote on this amendment first and then vote on the,
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's showing us voting on her screen, but not on ours.
you shall have to vote for us.
We may need to bring back the scoreboard over here
Yeah.
and the buttons. I still have mine at home.
No?
We're going to have to do that.
You just want to do a show of hands?
Oh, are we?
Maybe I just touched it. It didn't do anything.
All right. All right, can we do a show of hands? Can you get it that way? So all in favor?
This is in favor of
Removing it from the agenda. This motion, this vote is in favor of removing the agenda item. So all in favor? Aye, 3. All opposed?
No.
Yeah.
Not removing it. Not removing it.
Yeah, okay, all right, so we'll keep it on the agenda. The second item I want to discuss is I'm going to call an executive session for next Monday evening. This executive session involves the email the city administrator sent today indicating he might be considering legal action against the city. And we spoke to the attorneys about this, and we think it's appropriate that Mr. Quick should not be present for that portion of the discussion of the executive session. And so if we're going to do that, we have to have a motion not to invite Mr. Quick.
Make a motion.
Okay. And I'll second that. Any other discussion? All in favor of not inviting Mr. Quick to the executive session? Show of hands. All right. 2. All opposed? All right. That motion fails. 2 to 4. All right. And that brings us back to the regular. Any other motions to change the agenda? All right. In that case, we'll vote on the agenda. No. We may be voting by hand all night. Apologize for those watching online. Our electronic system is not working. All right, all in favor of the agenda? Aye. Any opposed? And I'm asking you to raise your hands because LightTube can't see the board. So folks online can tell who's voting. Otherwise, I'd just call for voices. All right, so the agenda is approved. That brings us to department reports. I'm sorry, those are in our package. Reports from Alderman. Start with Alderman Glick.
I have no report tonight.
I have no report tonight.
Ms. McGee?
Just a few things to report. I did attend the Planning Commission meeting last week, and I also attended Bark in the Park this past Saturday, which was a lot of fun. And I treaded in new territory because I'm terrified of dogs. So, but I overcame that fear on Saturday, so I really enjoyed doing that. And also on this Friday, I will be joining the Tullahoma Parks and Recreation Department for their trunk or treat at Grider Stadium right before the football game, and I believe the time is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Is that correct, JP? Okay.
Yes.
So please bring your kids out Friday between 5 and 7 at Grider Stadium for the trunk or treat. And that's it. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. I would like to just echo the two gentlemen that were here about our comprehensive zoning plan, our comprehensive plan, that we need to make every effort to solidify that as quickly as possible, I think.
Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Alderman, Mr. Burr, sorry, Mr. Alderman.
Thank you. Mine's a little bit long, but I'll try and keep it short. I attended my first tree board meeting, and it was wonderful to start learning about what function they serve for the city. They have informed me of some future concerns that have been identified about possibly needing to remove some diseased trees from city property before they start posing a hazard. There is an opening on the tree board currently. If there is any citizen interested in serving, they may fill out a citizen participation form on the city website. I was able to attend the city employees' annual chili cook-off. Parks and Recreation got the trophy for chili, but police won the tent decoration and dessert, so congratulations. The art crawl for the Arts Council was last Tuesday. Over 70 artists, 20 businesses, and about 300 people came in attendance to see all of the amazing skill in Tullahoma. And also I was at Bark in the Park, and that was phenomenal to see. It's always a fun event. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, could I have a little time back?
Sure.
I just want to echo what Ms. Wilson said about the 2045 plan, and to the two gentlemen that came here tonight and anybody else that might be interested, it is going through the Planning Commission right now. I believe the Planning Commission will have it as a work session and then to be voted on sometime possibly in November to make a recommendation to the board.
Don't know how fast we'll go through, but we're meeting. Samuel, I'm sorry to bother you. Is it this Wednesday that we're meeting or next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, so next Wednesday.
So anybody that could attend those planning commissions, if they wanted to put their comments in to help the planning commission reach a conclusion, then it would be helpful at that time.
Thank you.
And one more thing.
Anything else?
And the plan is on the website now.
Yeah.
The plan as revised that is going before the Planning Commission is on the website now, so anybody that wants to look at it can see it there.
Yep. All right, report from the mayor. Like Alderman Byrd, I was privileged to be a judge in the chili cook-off, which was spoiled my dinner terribly because I think we had 6 different groups, so that was 6 bowls of chili, 6 desserts, and 6 sides. And I might have had more than 6 on a few of those. And then right after that, I was able to go over and attend the Bel Air Walkathon, which is always a great event, and was glad to see that. And that's all the items I have. Report from the city administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. Several things to report. One, had a meeting with TUA
and engineers regarding the traffic light that is going to be installed at William Northern and Cedar Lane. There are going to be some slight modifications to that traffic light. We are still unsure in working with TUA what the timeline looks like, so we have discussed looking at temporarily establishing a traffic light there with the final design to be put in place. It could be up to 6 to 8 months, and we just don't think that that's appropriate. So we're going to be working with TUA and the engineers. I believe TUA will be issuing an RFP to seek to get a temporary traffic light established. So looking forward to seeing that happen. K9 Storm retired last Friday, and I just want to say thank you to all the people that not only put on the event, but the just unbelievable amount of people that showed up to pay their respects, not only to Storm, but also to Officer Bowles, who has done an outstanding job with K9 Storm in as far as seizures and all of the performance that he did in his role. Good news is his replacement has been receiving glowing remarks from all of the officers that work with him, and it sounds like our K9 program is going to be strong as it always has been.
93247-5171. I'm sorry.
That's all right, Coach, anytime. The Tullahoma Airport Authority has assembled a search committee for its new airport manager. They've begun some of the preliminary work right now, looking forward to providing whatever support we need. I want to say a special thank you to Lori Ashley, Carrie Rorick, and Sue Wilson, who have been tremendous in providing that support, as well as Donna Graham providing that support in giving what the airport needs from a standpoint of operations and financial needs. It's been very good to see them working so well together. A meeting is going to be coming up next week with St. Associates. Public Works and I, along with Alderman Toma, are going to be meeting with St. Associates to look at the Cedar Lane Corridor project. We have the 125-page growth document, and now we need to find out how do we go about getting funding to help make that become a reality. So we're going to be meeting with them to see if they can help us with some ideas on funding, and then see what other kind of support that they may or may not bring to that. Should there become an opportunity for them to contract with us, obviously we would bring all of that to you as far as the scope of the project, pricing, and those types of things. We're very preliminary in the stages right now, but looking forward to sitting down with them. They have a lot of experience in working with TDOT and getting these kinds of projects funded. I was able to have a meeting with a citizen this last week, and just want to say thank you to Miss Amanda Thompson for spending time with me. She had some concerns, and she utilized our email and has utilized our citizens response link on the website, and it was just great to be able to sit down with her, talk to her about some concerns. She was able to give some great ideas on things that we could be looking at. So just want to encourage any and all citizens, should you ever have questions, want to sit down, have a cup of coffee, always look forward to meeting with our citizens and seeing if we can meet their needs. A few dates to keep in mind. Friday is going to be very busy, as it's already been mentioned. We have Halloween coming. We will have downtown trick or treat, which if you have not been able to be a part of that, it is something else. The amount of kids that turn out is tremendous, as well as the support of our local merchants who help create a great atmosphere. So I hope you will be able to attend that. If not, from 5 to 7 at Fraser McEwen, we'll have the trunk or treat that Alderman McGee had spoken about. So look forward to having you at one of those two. A reminder that all of us will probably need Sunday, November 2nd, daylight savings time. So the way to remember that is you always fall back and spring forward. So we'll fall back an hour. On Monday, November 3rd, street paving will begin again. For those that have been wondering why we haven't continued with the paving, a lot of it has to do with our contractor. Our contractor holds a lot of contracts with the Tennessee Department of Transportation. When we are not available, or we are unable to have them there, or them with us, they are out somewhere else. We have them scheduled for November 3rd. Their first stop is going to be at the intersection of Country Club and Kings Lane, and then from there we'll be headed over to South Anderson Street to begin all of that work. And then if the Alderman will remember, we provided a list of streets that are a part of that project. So looking forward to really seeing a lot of that work begin on November 3rd. Friday, November 7th, our city employees health fair is going to take place. It's something that we've had for a few years now.
over the last couple of years, we've seen attendance and engagement with our city employees increase, not only from a health perspective, but also it helps us to spend time with them on looking at any kind of benefit questions they have, retirement issues or concerns or questions. So we have a lot of vendors that are there. Again, thank you to Lori and to Robin Morrison for all that they do as far as putting that together, along with Carrie Rourke. Friday, November 7th and 8th, USA Swim Meet will be back at D.W. Wilson. It's an indoor event. Last year we had 160 swimmers and over 500 people in attendance. So a lot of people will be at D.W. for the next couple of days, but it's an opportunity for the city of Tullahoma to show up and show out, as we like to say. Sunday, November 9th. Wildcat and Friends is going to be at JS3. For those of you that aren't aware, Wildcat and Friends is something that is put on by our Tullahoma Parks and Recreation Department, and it calls on some of our former baseball players who've gone through Tullahoma and have major league experience. If you have not seen one of the posters, I would really encourage you to look at that or look for them online. You'll see so many names on there that will bring back memories. So I hope those registrations and show up, the kids will show up. The reason we're having it at JS3, the last couple of years, we've had inclement weather that has really hurt our numbers. For those of you that are not familiar with JS3, that's the Sheffield family has an indoor batting cage and pitching cage. And so it's just going to be a great opportunity for all of our kids to be able to come in and not worry about the weather. Put this on your calendars also. Tuesday, November 11th is the Veterans Day event that we will have at South Jackson Performing Arts Center. And Lyle Russell has a great event scheduled for us. I think at this point I need to make sure that I clear the record on something. An email was sent to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen along with our city attorneys earlier today. However, that was not the first email that was sent to our city attorneys and to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen addressing concerns that I have brought to the attention. So I want to make sure it's understood that anything that occurs as a result of any emails that were sent today, those are not the first notifications you've received. I apologize to the city of Tullahoma that this is happening, but at the same time, I just don't think that this is, I just don't think that the things that are occurring behind the scenes are correct and accurate, and I think the city of Tullahoma should know that. Thank you.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Second.
Motion. Second by Ms. Wilson. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. 6-0 vote on approving the consent agenda. Unfinished business. Ordinance number 1664, an ordinance to amend the zoning map of the city of Tullahoma, Tennessee, as set forth in the Tullahoma Municipal Code to rezone a parcel located at 203 Highland Drive from low-density residential R1 to medium-density residential R2 for passage on second and final reading. Do we have a motion and a second for that?
Make a motion.
Motion from Alderman Byrd.
I second.
Second from Alderman McGee. Any discussion on that rezoning? If not, let's vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Next item under old business is ordinance number 1665, an ordinance to amend the zoning map of the city of Tullahoma, Tennessee, as set forth in the Tullahoma Municipal Code to rezone parcels located at 1306, 1308, and a to-be-determined East Lauderdale Street parcel from medium-density residential R2 to high-density residential R3 zoning district for passage on the second and final reading. Do we have a motion for that approval? Motion by Alderman Glick.
Second.
Second by Alderman McGee. I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Coach. Maybe that eye is going worse faster than I thought. If there's no discussion, let's vote. All in favor? 6-0. That motion carries. That brings us to new business. Item number 25-115, a request to authorize the Community Engagement Officer to apply for a project support grant from the Tennessee Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial Category 3 Exhibitions and Programs for an amount of $20,000 with no matching funds required. I'm sorry. Yeah, we got a motion by Mr. Glick, second by Alderman Wilson. Mr. Quick.
This is a grant that is offered by the state of Tennessee. I think Alderman Glick has done an outstanding job of raising the awareness of the 250th celebration that's coming along next year. Lyle and I have had several conversations and meetings and looked at ways that we can support and promote the 250th. And so this $20,000 grant is going to help to fund some of those things. Also, just as on a similar note, Lyle had a meeting not long ago, I guess it was last week, Lyle, and had some community volunteers that wanted to be a part of that. I would encourage, if you're still interested, to reach out to Lyle Russell and become a part of what's going to turn out to be a great year-long celebration.
Any discussion on that? Sounds like a great idea. Did we have a motion, right? We had a motion second. If there's no discussion, let's vote. All in favor? Aye. 6 yes. None opposed. Looking forward to that next year. Item number 25-116, a request for special community event signs in the public ways and waiver of permit fees for the Tullahoma Community Foundation annual Flip the Switch tree lighting event on Saturday, November 29th, 2025. Do we have a motion and a second? So motion by Alderman Byrd, second by Alderman Wilson. Any discussion on this one, Mr. Quick?
This is something that we have every year. Is pretty much routine, where we will waive the sign permit fees for a requester. This is something the board has done on several occasions.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, let's vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that carries 6-0. Item 25-117, a request from the city administrator to approve the Tennessee State Subdivision Opioid Abatement Agreement, Amendment 6, and authorize mayor to execute the participation and release form on behalf of the city of Tullahoma. Do we have a motion and second on that one?
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. McGee, second by Alderman Wilson. She's fast on the draw over there on those seconds. Mr. Quick.
Several weeks back, I was contacted by the Tennessee's Attorney General's Office, Department of Consumer Protection, stating that the state of Tennessee is going to be participating in the opioid settlement that has occurred from several years back. The state of Tennessee will be receiving funds, as well as, my understanding, both Coffee and Franklin counties, which Tullahoma has a connection to. The funds that will be received will not be sent directly to the city of Tullahoma. They will go from the state to the counties, and then the counties will disperse whatever funds they deem necessary. There is no estimation on what those funds would look like. That's still to be determined, but they have asked for the city of Tullahoma to support the opioid settlement. They've asked for every city in the state of Tennessee to do so. So we are asking for your approval in order for the mayor to sign off as a supporter of this opioid settlement.
Mr. Mayor, we've reviewed this, and we recommend that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen approve this.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I know that the county manages a fund for all that, and the sheriff regularly spends money out of that towards drug abatement activities. I'm assuming that's what will happen here as well. So, all right, no discussion. Let's vote. All in favor? Any opposed? So that's 6-0. That motion carries. Item number 25-118, a request to authorize the city attorney's office to hire a law firm to assist with the employee evaluation of the city administrator and analyze the city of Tullahoma personnel policy and to appropriate funds not to exceed $20,000 without further board approval. Do we have a motion for discussion? Mr. Glick makes motion. Mr. Byrd with the second. Mr. Glick, you have the right to speak first.
I'm not in favor of this item. I think this is, we voted on at a special call meeting to hire a HR firm to assist us with a comprehensive human resources program, and even Alderman Toma brought up a couple other issues like the benefits and insurance and stuff to include in that. So it was, what we talked about was a comprehensive program that evaluations and things would all be part of. What was brought back to us on this item is merely to hire a law firm, not an HR firm, but hire a law firm to assist with evaluations of city administrator. So I don't think that is anything, I don't think that's what we voted on last time, and I think doing this in a piecemeal approach would be the wrong thing to do. So I think we ought to go back and go to the HR firm and try to get a comprehensive approach.
Mayor, if I could be heard on
this.
that.
No,
He's finished.
I'm talking
I'm sorry,
about-
I thought you were finished.
And this is a board discussion, so anyway, those are my reasons, and then I had other reasons too, but those reasons I'll hold because a lot of them were brought up in email that we received today, so that I'd already saw on a contract. So
I'm going to recognize Mr. Byrd because he has the second if he wants it, and if not.
Yes, thank you. The recommendation of a law firm is partially because of my doing. I contacted MTAS to get their recommendation with some of the concerns that have been brought to the board. MTAS's recommendation was to reach out to Travelers, our insurance company, and Travelers, they recommended a specific lawyer that has helped in instances like this before, and I believe that is where our city attorneys ended up finding multiple firms that could help with this.
So let me jump in for just a moment. So when we voted, we asked the city attorney's office to bring back a set of recommendations. And so I'm going to call on them now to tell us what they have found in their recommendations, and what they researched and what they found.
Thank you, Mayor. So, yes, as you're all aware, the last time we were here, you all voted on an item to authorize us to look into outside firms to help with this. We, like Mr. Glick, assumed maybe there were HR firms that could do this. However, based on what our insurance provider has recommended and based on the information we've received, actually, the people who do what you're asking to have done, which is to assist the board with an evaluation of the city administrator, are HR or employment attorneys. Those are the people that do that. As Alderman Byrd indicated, I've spoken with the attorney that was recommended by our insurance provider. She, in fact, just did this very exact same thing for the city of Franklin. Basically, she went in and helped them with the evaluation by speaking to employees and looking at their HR policies and procedures. She then made recommendations to the city of Franklin. She gave them a lengthy report. And she's also looked at their HR policy. She's willing to do both of those things for us, to look at our HR policy and procedures as well. I think there was a consensus among board members that, hey, we need to do this first and get feedback about our policies and procedures before we take it a step further and look at outside agencies to outsource the entire HR department to, or certain parts of the HR department. The attorney that I've spoken with, as well as the attorney that Mr. Worsham has spoken with, have both advised that we do this first, because there may be things in our policies and procedures that need to be either looked at or revised, changes made to those things as we've discussed. And so both of these firms are willing to do that. I asked the lady that I spoke to type something up for you all so that you could see exactly what she's saying she could do, what her fees are, all of that information, so that I can provide that to you. And I believe Mr. Worsham spoke with somebody in a totally different area, totally different law firm, but basically said the exact same thing. She can provide the same services, but also could help, her firm could help with the outsourcing of HR as well. So basically, we were going to bring this before you all tonight to bring you two options to say, hey, here they are. You've asked us to find these things. We found them, but it's up to you all as to who you want to use. But the information we've received is that employment attorneys or HR attorneys are the appropriate people to do this. And then, since Mr. Quick elaborated on it, since we've received these two memorandums from him indicating that he's considering his legal options regarding this item and indicating that the board has violated his contract by not performing this evaluation, I do think it's important that we move forward with an evaluation.
I have some comments.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to add a little bit to that.
okay.
I spoke with an attorney that I first met through MTAS, who actually conducted a seminar for the Tennessee Municipal Attorneys Association several years ago about HR matters in municipalities, and she's an expert in that with a very good law firm in Chattanooga. And I talked with her about this at length a couple of times and received some emails from her too. And actually, the hourly rate that she quoted was almost identical with the one with whom Ms. Brittany Hodgkins spoke. And basically, her recommendations were exactly the same. So we actually, in both cases, we've been recommended by MTAS and others that a firm should do this. In addition to that, we did meet with several staff members and had a meeting about that where people are involved in this kind of a process. And we determined that we could utilize the provisions in our contract for hiring special counsel without having to go through RFPs, because these are professional services, so we wouldn't have the delay that would delay the evaluation, all these other things, by going that route. So that if you all were to authorize us to do that, we could then get specific provisions and recommendations from these people without going through the complicated, more formal process, and that we all make the decision. It was not our intention to make the final decisions for you, but bring recommendations to you all so that you all can make those decisions ourselves. And Mr. Quick said he welcomed an evaluation. This is the type of evaluation with survey of city employees, as well as what you all come up with for your own personal recommendations regarding Mr. Quick's performance, and we think we're fulfilling our obligation as the board directed us to do.
One more thing, and I'm sorry, we won't go on, but one thing that I think is important that both firms said to us is that they are going to be as neutral as can be. They want to make this as fair, not only to the employees, but also to the city administrator as is possible. That is their role here. And so they want this to be fair all the way around. But one thing that they both pointed out is there's 7 of you. How can you all, as a whole, perform an evaluation of an employee that you just have contact with primarily at board meetings? So in order for you all to perform this evaluation pursuant to his contract so that we are not in violation of it, it is appropriate for you to hire an outside neutral party to come in and do the evaluation to assist you. And then you all may get this back and say, hey, there are other criteria or other goals or things that we want to discuss. It doesn't have to be the whole evaluation, but it's to guide you and to help you all as you evaluate his performance, which is required pursuant to his contract.
Ms. Wilson was next.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I appreciate the explanation from our city attorneys, and I think that helps, because when this agenda item was placed on here, it, again, as Alderman Glick has already stated, in our meeting, the last meeting, we approved to research, not hiring, and I think that and also, like Alderman Glick said, I did not think that it was just what we were having you all research was just based solely on the evaluation of the city administrator. I thought it was kind of like an a la carte sort of services that we were looking into. And I think that we do need multiple choices. And it would be, I was going to recommend that there needs to be some sort of also process that we go into in trying to find these attorneys, that we're not just picking someone like the one alderman has researched. It needs to be a process of asking them questions, almost like a procurement for services, sort of things that we're comparing apples to apples, and that it's a neutral, the person that we would select would be someone neutral. And there is a way of doing that, to make sure that there's no previous conflicts of interest, which is a big thing for me. Has the person that we're considering ever had any thing to do with, a conflict of interest with the board or the city? So I think that it was premature, to put this on here without having all of the facts also stated in the agenda for us to look through and make choices as a board. And also I was going to say that, in my opinion, and I have said this before, I think that MTAS should be a place that we start, because as we have done last year, we used MTAS to help with our evaluation of the city administrator. And although it wasn't solidified because there were some people on the previous board that did not submit their evaluation, I believe that was a free way to do it. And also I wanted to say that I was not aware of a memo. I don't always get my email, the day of, so.
If I could just respond to a
Yeah.
couple of things you said. We did reach out to MTAS. Steve spoke with MTAS. They basically said, we've helped you as far as we're going to help you. You need to reach out to your insurance provider. So Matthew reached out to Travelers already without us communicating about that, and then they recommended this attorney. I can tell you the attorney I talked to has never had anything to do with the city of Tullahoma. Her firm ran a conflicts check. Steve's is the same way. So this isn't someone that we've used before. It's just someone who's done this very thing. In fact, for the city of Franklin, it was the same situation. It was an evaluation of the city administrator. As to, you talked about the process of asking them questions. Maybe I misunderstood, but I thought that's what you wanted us to do. So that's what we've been doing. Steve or I, neither have any connection to these attorneys. They were just who were recommended, hey, this person does that. And as you might imagine, there are not a ton of attorneys that do this. This is a pretty unique thing that you're asking someone to help you do. So it may be difficult. I don't think this is going to be something where we can come back to you and say, hey, here are 5 or 10 for you to pick from. It was pretty difficult for us to find the 2 that we did. But we don't have any objection. We wanted to bring the information to you. We don't have any objection to you all talking to these attorneys and, asking your own questions and getting your own feedback from them. And certainly if you want to do your own research and maybe look for other resources and bring that back, we don't have any problem with doing that. We're simply trying to do what you guys asked us to do the last time we were here and get that information back to you as efficiently as possible, given the situation that's current.
You ready?
Yes.
Number one, I am totally against this, totally against it. Number two, it would be no different, Mr. Worsham or yourself, for us to hire someone to come in here and evaluate you two, or us, to tell us what we need to be doing. We're elected by the city of Tullahoma. We're elected to do our job. I have been on this board for 14 years, and all of this time we've been able to evaluate our administrator and our staff without any problem whatsoever. Now, for us to bring a group in here and have to pay them to evaluate our city administrator is way out of line, and I will not vote that in at all.
Thank you. Ms. McGee.
More quick. I have to agree with Alderman Glick and Wilson. I thought that what we had agreed upon was getting like an HR, a third-party HR firm to handle HR issues, which included evaluations, disciplinary actions, going over benefits, things of that nature. Along with that, yes, they would review, the policies and procedures and different things regarding the personnel. I was not aware that it would be just for the city administrator. There's so many other things that could fall into that wouldn't be, that I don't think would be favorable for the city. So that's why I thought it was like comprehensive or inclusive of an HR department for all of the city personnel, for everyone's evaluations.
Before you answer,
not just,
sorry.
Singling out the city administrator.
So can you clarify
Yes.
what this goes, and in addition, can you clarify some of the discussions you had with staff in terms of what they thought should be outsourced versus maybe we don't want to outsource?
Sure, yes. So to clarify, there are basically three things that I think we were asked to do, one of which is to outsource HR in general. The other is to look at outsourcing IT in general. Those are two items that I think are going to take a little bit of time, and that's generally what we found. That's pretty big ticket items when you say outsource a department, and so those are going to take a little more time. We're going to have to do RFPs for those. The third thing was any employee who required an evaluation pursuant to their contract, performance reviews or performance evaluations were a portion of what we were asked to do. And it was our understanding the board wanted assistance with an evaluation of the employees who require that pursuant to their contract, which is the city administrator. Given the current situation and what's going on currently, it was our understanding that you all wanted us to promptly find somebody to do that. So that's what we've done.
That's not the way I recall. No, I mean, this is supposed to be a board discussion.
It is a board discussion.
And it's being interrupted
Mr. Glick,
by
you're out of
staff
order.
constantly.
You're out of order. I'm glad to let you speak.
Well, no, the whole
I'm glad
thing
to
is
let you-
the whole thing is out of order.
Since when is it out of
The board
order?
is.
Since when is it out of order to have staff report to us on a job we asked
She
them to
reports
do?
constantly. The board can't even have a discussion without
Mr.
comments
Glick,
from staff
you're out
every
of order.
time.
Please refrain from speaking until you're recognized. I'm going to let everybody talk as much as they want to. But the staff gets a right to report what we ask them to do.
That's right, but they need to do it in a concise manner.
Continue, Ms. Hoskins.
Okay. And then, so we had a meeting with staff with the finance department and the HR officer, and said, hey, what is the best way for us to go about doing this? We've never done this before. Is there an appropriate procedure? Is there something that we need to be doing? In that meeting, one of the employees brought forward that our contract authorizes us to hire outside firms as needed in any situation. That's true, our contract does. Steve and I both agreed, we're not just, even though we've been authorized to find somebody to do a performance evaluation, even though our contract allows us to just do that, we wanted to bring it back before you all and say, hey, here are your choices of the different people that can do this. It's going to be, I don't know, I hate to use the word impossible, I guess anything's possible. I'm open to you all doing your own research, but from what we have been told and we have been advised, it's going to be pretty difficult to get one person to do all three things that I've listed, the outsourcing HR, outsourcing IT, and somebody to do the evaluations. What has been recommended to us by the legal counsel that does this, we're not employment attorneys, we're not HR attorneys. What they are saying is you need to get the evaluation done, you need to have someone look at your policies and procedures before you make the decision to outsource HR, because things may come up as a part of that that may indicate, hey, some of your policies need to be changed. When we met with staff, some of the things that were brought to our attention that do need to be outsourced have to do with like OSHA violations, federal and state law. It's pretty difficult, especially for our employees that are doing maybe 1 or 2 or 3 jobs, to keep up with all of that as far as HR is concerned. And so it would be helpful to outsource some of those things. Some of the day-to-day things they think can be handled in-house, which is consistent with what the board said last time, which is we need to keep boots on the ground here, but also have certain help outside. So we're fine with doing it however you want to do it, but what has been recommended by the attorneys that practice this type of law is look at the HR policies and procedures, do the evaluations that are required pursuant to contract, and then let us give you feedback, and then you can decide, do you want to use our firm to outsource HR, do you want to use somebody else? And it may not be in the financial interest of the board to use a law firm to outsource HR in general. It may be better to find some other company that does that, but it's hard to find those companies that do that will also come in and do a evaluation and stay neutral. You've got to think that when you outsource HR, presumably these people are going to be working with the city administrator. You probably don't want those to be the same people that are evaluating the city administrator. And I understand that normally you haven't done this, but his contract requires an evaluation, and we're in the same boat. If there's 7 of you, how can you evaluate him without talking to the employees? Are all 7 of you going to talk to every employee? That same situation, we discussed that at length with these 2 attorneys, and they've said the same thing we're saying.
I didn't know if he had anything to say.
I do. And sorry, I was wanting to get this discussion going amongst the board. I appreciate your work. I ask you guys questions regularly, and I'm happy that you answer them. I have never been in favor of doing the getting the help from evaluating the city administrator, and I think other board members feel the same. And I thought that might be a thing that came along with this, and that we would hire an HR firm to do the comprehensive HR work, and then that would be the firm that we would use to evaluate our city personnel policy and help with evaluations if needed. I don't think I need any help with evaluations of the one employee and possibly 2 other employees that this board would evaluate. I feel very comfortable with doing that myself, as I was elected to do, as Alderman Mathis stated. But I do think that what we had asked for was getting the comprehensive HR firm. If it's not possible, and I understand that it's very difficult to find, I've done some research, I've found a couple of possibilities, but nothing concrete. I haven't followed up, of course. That would be, I think, more of something for staff to do. But I think what we would want the staff to do at that time is to bring them forward. I would like to see resumes in writing, what they propose to do. I would like to see that ahead of time, before I'm asked to vote on something, and to encumber funds and pay somebody not to exceed $20,000 to evaluate the city administrator. I don't know if, we just had a tax increase. Is that why we're increasing taxes? To spend money to evaluate the city administrator? I don't think that's a good use of funds. So I think that we should, I'm just saying, I'm not in favor of this whatsoever, as stated.
Ms. McGee.
I thought we were given examples of different types of evaluations. And so I thought that we were just waiting on to see which evaluation MTAS would recommend that we use, the board members use for the city administrator. That was part of my understanding also, along with this.
And I do have just a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I appreciate the work that y'all have done.
Yeah,
I know
do
that it's not an easy
appreciate everything
task.
that you all have done.
And I appreciate the information, but I was caught a little off guard, and it may be in your contract that you can make a decision, but I would never want that. I would want all of us to choose based on, criteria that we have laid out for each one of them. The same as what we would do, like if we were going to, hire a new engineer or something like that, I guess. I mean, obviously, this is a contract employee, so that's a little different, but, yeah.
Anyone else? I guess I just have just a couple comments. I think this item is not just for the city administrator, it is for the analysis of the personnel policies. And this was one path forward that was presented. I don't think it's the only path forward, and maybe we need to regroup and figure out another path. But to say that we shouldn't spend money figuring out how to go to personnel policies, I think, we've got risk with our policy as it is now in terms of legal terms, and we may wish we had spent that $20,000. So I'm welcome to the board to make any other, and we don't have to deal with it tonight. But we do need to update our personnel policy. I think there is a general consensus we would like to outsource something with HR. I think some of the questions we've asked the existing staff to do is almost a bit of a conflict of interest for them, trying to tell them how to figure out how to outsource within their own department, and that's why I thought it sounded like a good idea to have an external person come in and make some recommendations for us. Maybe it ought to be an HR firm and not an HR lawyer. I'm not sure there's a huge difference there at the end of the day, but that's my comments. Alderman Byrd, did you have anything else that you wanted to add? I just want to be sure everybody gets a chance to be heard tonight.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
So in my,
I'm
you
sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just think that this, the way this agenda is written, it may need to be reworded.
need to work
because
on it.
it sounds like, reading this, it just sounds like it's specific to the evaluation of the city administrator, and analyze the city of Tullahoma's personnel policies. I just think that.
Well, that's the item, but I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I just feel like it should have been written a little different.
And I just
for it to be all-inclusive.
Yeah.
Is it, so MTAS, in the past, they would, their legal department have helped us even with our charter revisions. They're not willing to help with our personnel policies?
So MTAS made recommendations to the personnel policies as they were brought to you all, some of them, not all of them, not most of them, I would say, but some of them, they made recommendations, and then, as you know, the policies and procedures were brought before the board and said, hey, here they are, changed, approve those. And I think at that time you all said, well, we want to know like what was changed. There were a lot of changes, and so you asked for a document, I think, itemizing the changes. I think that's as far as that part of it made it. However, I think MTAS is saying we've helped with that some, but not all, and you need to have that approved by legal. We're happy to look at it, but again, we're not HR attorneys. I think it would be better to have an expert look at that.
Gotcha. And I would like to recognize the city administrator.
I'll recognize the city administrator.
Okay.
Mr.
Well, I had the floor, which is why he was addressing something that I had said.
understand, but in Robert's rules, you address the chair, not other people in the audience. I'm just trying to keep a time rate on things tonight. Mr. Quick.
For the last 2 years, one of the focuses that I have had has been working with HR, most recently with Lori Ashley. We've met with 2 separate HR consultants that are hired by MTAS and considered to be experts in their field, especially when it deals with municipalities such as Tullahoma. Countless hours have been spent. We provided the information to you along with the document that showed all of the changes. MTAS, MTAS consults with 354 cities in the state of Tennessee. No one is going to know more municipality HR better than those that do it on a day-to-day basis. So I think the personnel policy that has been brought before you for consideration is something that is based on fact, based on policy. I may have mentioned this to 1 or 2 of you. I sat recently at a TCMA meeting in which an HR expert got up and he said, I want to show you all of the things that you need to make sure are in your policy. I sat next to our HR consultant, and we checked the box on every single thing that person said you need to make sure is in your policy. So I'm not sure how bringing in somebody else to look at that. Again, MTAS has always been held to be the one that we go to. Also, from a point of clarification, just want to make sure, Ms. Hoskins said the 2 emails that have been sent. I have sent 3 emails to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and to our city attorneys. One has to do with contract violations. The other 2 have to do with the actions of our current mayor, who, and the way that he has created an environment of hostility, intimidation, and threats towards me, and how that has impacted every city department and has put all of our people and our employees on edge because they're not sure what their status is. I want to make sure it's understood the contract violations, while there are multiple, is the least of my concerns. I'm more concerned about my city employees, those that I stand behind, those that I work with daily, and ensuring that they feel safe in the work that they do and they feel committed to staying on board and not looking for another job because they're afraid of an outsource. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I do. I just wanted to reiterate the way that I thought it was. We were looking for a comprehensive HR firm separately, and not the same contract would be a IT firm. Not those wouldn't going to be the same person. And And under the comprehensive HR firm, we were just outlining duties that we wanted them to do. And one of them was to look at our personnel policy, have them be the one to look at our personnel policy, because they would be the ones dealing with it on a regular basis, and make any suggestions at that time that they thought needed to be tweaked in it, that they thought would work better, because they would be working for it in the future. Not that it was going to have to be totally overhauled, because I think that was already done by Mr. Quick's staff and MTAS. But, who knows? Maybe they'd come up with a lot of things. But that was my goals and expectations, and not what we have here today.
Thank you.
I just have one more thing to say,
Yes, ma'am.
too. And it's not to replace anyone. So we don't want anyone to be afraid of, there's just not an HR department for the city. So that's what we were looking at. It's not to replace anyone or, to take anyone's job. It's just, you just need an HR department for the city.
And I do agree that we need to probably have, the mayor has mentioned Monday for a meeting. I guess it would have to be an executive session at this point.
Executive session, yeah.
And it's up to us. And I don't know that it has to be voted on whether or not the city administrator is there or not. And he can be there for part of it and not there for part of it. And that's our purview to decide.
Any other discussion on this motion? If not, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Okay, the vote.
What are we in favor of?
We're voting on this item that we've been talking about.
25-118.
Number 25-118, request to authorize city attorney.
okay.
Yeah. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? So 4-2. I'm sorry, 2-4. Motion fails. And we'll move on to the next item. Item number 25-119. Request from the Parks, excuse me. Request from the Parks and Recreation Department to accept the proposal of $632,780 from C&H Commercial Contractors to build the Parks and Recreation Grounds Maintenance Facility, and authorize mayor to sign the acceptance of proposal. Do we have a motion?
I have a motion that I would like to make a motion to accept this item and have Parks and Rec provide an itemized list of expenses.
Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a second from Coach Mathis. Discussion. Report from Mr. Quick.
I have asked for Parks and Recreation Director J.P. Kraft to come forward to talk a little bit about the history and how we've gotten here now, and to answer any questions that you may have.
So I'll give you a little bit of history. Around 2010, we stored all of our supplies and equipment under Grouder Stadium. There was a renovation to shore up the underside of Grouder Stadium. We tore out all of the equipment, storing everything we had. We had a paint room. We had things where we kept all of our equipment. For airflow, we moved out to 281 Industrial Boulevard, which is the back of what's now the Legal Aid building. And it's been a fine building. We've gone through 3 owners. It was $1,100 a month. It has sold a third time to Swanson Developments. The rent is $2,475 right now. I only see that going up. They have also staked out the other acreage to build another building. The current contract I have with them gives me 30 days to move out. When we were under Grouder Stadium, we were in Fraser McEwen Park. Logistically, at the end of the day, we didn't have to pack everything up and leave. I think being back inside of a park is the best location for this building. I spoke to Terry Hirschman with C&H Contractors. I can have this itemized list within an hour tomorrow. He's got to come into his office. In the bid, that was not part of it. We use the same template for a bid for every project. We just change the scope of work. If that's something that we need to add to that, I'll be glad to add it to my copy of the bid spec for next time. It's kind of a learning process. I do probably do a lot more bidding than most of them because I have all the public facilities. I have maintenance under me. I have ground maintenance. We've rented a long time. I think ownership is just a better use of taxpayer money. Safety for our employees. This building is not heated and cooled. There is one restroom that's not ADA. There's no eye wash. We use a lot of materials to take care of the parks. We use paint, we use chemicals. All the grass you see, like on a golf course, it's not supposed to grow that way. We use chemicals to make it grow. We use chemicals to kill it. Ryegrass, things like that. You have to store those things or the chemicals lose their efficacy. We've spent thousands of dollars on equipment. The last real mower we purchased was $70,000. This stuff cannot sit outside. It needs to be inside. Currently, it's about 4,000 square feet. This would be 5,000 square feet with a 1,000 square foot overhang for larger items like tractors or implements. I'll be glad to take your questions.
Well, we're spending $25,000, $200 now a year where you are, right?
I think it's about
If you're going 2,100 and it's times 12, that's 25,200. So eventually it's going to catch up with us. So it's probably something we need, but we need itemization so we'll know what's going on.
I can get that. Like I said, the bid did not require it. I'd be glad to put that in the bid moving forward. It's very difficult to get contractors to come and give me prices as it is. We sent this bid out to 6 contractors. Only 2 responded. Some of the work that they put into these prices, if they know they're not going to get the bid, they're not going to do that. This is just a proposal. Definitely going to bring you a contract back. We'll have itemized prices. It's about 6,000 square feet undercover. It's 600,000. Then we have the dirt work. We have the utilities. To give you an example, the $800,000 restroom at Johnson Lane, about $300,000 of that was the site work and utilities. Where we have these parks, Wagner Park does not have sewer. We've got to overcome that obstacle. The rear of the park does not have power. We put in some power when we did the lights, but where this particular building will go, we'll have to bring power and water to the site.
Will TUA let you do a septic tank out there still?
We're going to tie into an existing septic tank.
And are you comfortable with that amount of square footage? It seems like it. I know we always build stuff for what we need now. I'd like to look to the future and make sure we have plenty of room to grow.
We had looked at building one a little bit bigger, about 9,600 square feet, but the prices have just gone up astronomically. You know that we've talked about this for many years. It's been the #1 capital improvement item on our capital improvement list for some time. It was 200,000, that was 400,000, now it's 600,000. I mean, red iron is very expensive. These buildings are kits, but you have to do all the other amenities that go with it, and I frankly didn't think we could afford a larger one.
Did you get any pricing on building a second building for storage only at Johnson Lane?
We have, there'd be no restroom, there'd be no power, it would be on a gravel pad or something like that. We're pursuing maybe looking at a Connex box to maybe store equipment. We could paint it green, put it over in the fence row, it would store it. A lot of job sites use those, they're sealed, water and pests can't get in there. We could leave our equipment. I think it's important that we store everything in one location just because it's, hey, where did we put this? Where did we put that? Is that out at Johnson Lane? Is that at Wagner? I think it is important to have one central location to accept deliveries, to, start and end your day. It's something that I think would be a little bit confusing. We have that now with the 2 community centers. Sometimes you move a piece of equipment, you're not exactly sure where it is. So for simplicity, we've kind of looked into either storage, Connex boxes, or a smaller storage facility.
Any other questions? Yeah. Go ahead.
This came up, I think, twice before. Each year they were raising the rent, and I was one of a few that, even said at the time, why are we continuing to pay when I was a huge proponent of us, having our own facility. It makes no sense to pay someone else, when we're always going to have a need for this. So is there a way to build the building it's such that it would be easy to add on, like if we needed more square footage later?
Not in this particular location, just because of the geography. But I imagine you could come out where the front of this building would be into the parking lot. Behind the building will be what I call our lay-down yard. We will build a 4-stall bin system for sand or infield mix or warning track material. We have certain things delivered that also, like if we removed something out of the park and we had to lay it down and work on it, you have to have room, and you don't want that kind of visible. So the building will kind of be the barrier in the front, and behind that would be a yard that it's backed up to the National Guard. If we did any expansion, it would be out toward the parking lot.
And whereabouts over there would it be located? I'm just trying to
So
visualize.
if you're looking at the dog park, it'll be to the left of the dog park where we historically
okay.
have always stored
Gotcha.
our loose materials such as dirt, sand, and infill.
Kind of over where the dumpsters are?
Correct.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no other comments or questions, let's vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carries 6-0. And I think that's the conclusion. With that, we are adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry.